the Kuzmenko Kadri pairing.
Train. Let's call it a train because it's running down the track.
The Kuzmenko Kadri train. It's chugging away as both gentlemen. You know what they've done? They found some chemistry.
They're going a point and a half a game, these bastards. They're on a heater here. They're ruining this thing.
They really are.
They're trying to get Iginla to frickin' Seattle, these jerks.
Another
didn't like Seattle once already. He ain't going back to Seattle. He already said, get me the hell out of Seattle.
Well, you want to play junior till he's 20? He's got that option, I guess.
7 multi-point games in the last 9 for Kuzmenko, 16 points in those 9 games.
9 goals in 9 games. 7 assists to go with. And Kadri's last 10, 15 points.
And then everyone's going to bitch about it because all the games don't matter. So now he's playing well. Is that kind of the...
I wouldn't go there. I think...
I'm not going there. I thought I heard those rumors, those rumblings.
No, I think, you know what? It probably just changes the conversation a bit. Because when you looked at Kuzmenko's very streaky and, you know, he had some games where he'd show up and then you'd see large swaths where he didn't look interested. This is a really, really good run for a guy that has vastly outperformed Elias Lindholm since the trade and was one of 5 pieces Craig Conroy got, and that you have to make a decision on in the next year. He's a free agent essentially next summer.
Well, I've already made mine.
Can I submit something to the group?
Please do.
It is my understanding, and I've had some high-level discussions. That apparently when Kuzmenko came to town, he was quite sick, a viral type of a thing that he was dealing with. So when he was being healthy scratched, he wasn't as healthy as you might be led to believe. They call it, or upper body injury. He was actually quite sick and wasn't feeling good until recently. And now, obviously, the production is speaking for himself. And you factor that into new team, comfort level, feeling better.
Line mate too.
Line mate doesn't hurt. And now you talk about, now again, so I just wanted to throw that because I do believe this from the team that he just wasn't feeling great.
Yeah, and they said they were consistent with that the whole way. I think it was more the conspiracy theorists, right?
Now you said it changed the story a little bit. Ryan, back to you.
Well, he's on an over 40 goal pace since he's arrived in Calgary. And it just, something about it was so weird that a guy is a rookie, albeit 27 or whatever he was, could score 39 in his first year in the NHL. Like, guys don't come from other leagues and score 39 in the NHL ever. This is wild.
Does it matter who you're playing with? Obviously,
of course it matters,
but they're saying it was because he was with Pettersson.
There's been a lot of guys that have played with Elias Pettersson the last 10 years that have got nowhere near 39 goals, and none of them have been rookies.
10 years? Has he been on?
Wow, yeah, sure.
Okay. So I wasn't being a dink. I was actually.
Yeah, I just mean, like, look, Elias Pettersson plays next to 2 guys every year. How many have got 39 as a rookie? 0. He's the only guy. Kuzmenko plus 0.
I don't think there's any debating the skill level. Like, he's a special talent
player. Yeah. And so that guy, somehow Rick Tocchet didn't want on the ice before he got sick at certain instances this year. And that feels like a red flag. And when you watched him when he wasn't 100%, to your point, Dean, you can kind of put a little more weight in that red flag. And now when you see him with Kadri on a 9-game heater where he's over a point and a half per game, looking like their most dynamic player, and a power play suddenly come to life, now you're putting less stock in that red flag and saying it's all fit. And look at here, they just had too many bodies there. So I've over the course of these, since he got traded at the deadline, 2 months in Calgary, we've been on a bit of an emotional ride on how you feel about the guy because of all these things that have changed.
That point you make is exactly what I was thinking. So what happened in Vancouver with Tocchet at the start of the year? So if you take last year and his impressive performance, and then what we've seen here over the last however many, whatever it's been since the trade deadline for the most part, when does one outweigh the other? What we didn't see and just what we've heard is speculation and healthy reduced ice time with Tocchet. And how much stock do we put into what we're seeing with our own eyeballs and what took place a year ago? One is starting to, there's more in one of the buckets than there is in the other, if you ask me.
Especially when you factor in the rookie year, right, Dean? So you basically have a year and a third where he's looked like a dynamic offensive player with a rare skill set in the league. And then there's 2/3 of a season where it's like, I didn't look like he got along with the coach.
and somebody's in the chat, and I think it's what everybody would agree. You wish he was younger because
or
he's
had
got
more
one
term on his contract.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, fair enough. Or he had, because it will be you talk about discussions that we will no doubt be having. What do you do with this guy? And I know you've used the pump and dump, give him ice time, give him opportunity, and then trade him.
Yeah.
And I said it last week at the same time, this team has been devoid of high level skill for so long.
Yeah.
Now you've got some.
How old is he?
He will be 30 on his new deal. This is his 28-year-old season this year. It'll be his
28.
29-year-old season next year. So
That would be my concern, is
Yeah,
that
me
is
too.
he part of the age group that can help you moving?
No, and if you were going to trade him, you would be adding someone that would join that age group. Like if he's going to, let's say you've got him on a 40-goal pace next year as you head into the deadline, that's a very valuable piece. And so while I think Kuzmenko is a great player and the type of player the team should try to go get, there's also teams that he'll be more valuable to in the final year of a contract before his UFA. Like that's an attractive rental for a team that loses a winger that can score. Maybe the offensive production's dropped just a bit.
You'll be able to chew contracts.
You'll be able to eat some money. And it's also a situation where, to your point, Dean, the Rick Tocchet experience looks like maybe potentially the outlier, not half of his resume. And so you could keep him and he's a good player, but if he's a good player, that means you probably get a lot for him if you trade him next year.
Yeah, you're right. And you start to think big picture now when things are good. What's it? Never, don't make decisions when you're super pissed off or you're too high or too low, right? This is not the time. Plus they've got all kinds of time. What it is it's fun to watch. He's an exciting player that they've not had for a while. And yeah, he and Kadri, they're dangerous out there and they're making things happen. It was again, I don't know what you call last night's game. It was a bit of a rodeo at time. 11 goals, blown leads was 3
the over,
like kind of all over the place. But for being this late in the season, it was a fun game to watch. They get a win. It's kind of whatever, but I do feel like it's a pump the brakes thing, even though there's nothing else really for us to talk about right now.
It's a great development. It gives Connie more options. If this guy's playing like shit,
it's exactly what you hoped for when you traded for him.
Totally. When we were in Toronto at All-Star break and they made this trade, and the pieces fell out into the public space one at a time. It was Kuzmenko. Then it's going to be a first. And then, there's probably a conditional pick. And then, there's this Brustevich kid. And, there's another Finnish defenseman or Swedish defenseman as well. The thought was, okay, like it hasn't been a good fit under Tocchet there. Could you restore some value in Kuzmenko? And then you've got the choice of signing a good player or trading a good player. And that's happened.
Yeah.
It's the best case scenario.
Hey, you know what, Rhett? You're exactly right. That's what we said, because on the Vancouver side, it was being framed as a salary dump. And here it was, well, maybe it could be a bit of a reclamation project.
Yes.
And get back to the level that he was playing at before. And then he's an asset, however you want to use it, whether you're keeping him or trading him or whatever. So far, so good.
Yeah. And for those that are like saying, sign him. Let's say the Flames are competitive when the new rink opens. And that feels quick. That's a pretty quick turnaround. That'd be fall of 2027. You're talking about a guy that'll be 32, 33-ish. Like, are you sure what you have at that age? Like those are the years where scorers start scoring less and players go into decline. And at certain positions, be it a power forward or physical defenseman, you just might be done. That's not necessarily the match in the window. And that's sort of the counterpoint to he's great. He's the type of player you want, sign him.
If you got time, you use it.
Yeah, and they have until the deadline next year, essentially.
They will definitely use it.
Hey, guys, thanks for watching. Be sure to check out more of our content right here on the Flames Nation YouTube page. We had a bunch of great long-form interviews. You can check out some videos we've done as well outside of the studio. And, of course, if you want more writing or merchandise stuff, flamesnation.ca or nationgear.ca. Appreciate you watching.